In this video, we are going to set up the MacAfric JDP 10,000E gasoline generator, petrol generator. Right, you'll get some tools. You get these 4 wheels, these rods. Right, so you get the U-bolts. You'll see you should have 4. Then you've got nuts and bolts for the arm, which I'll still show you. You should have 8 washers, 2 for each wheel. And the cotter pins, which you will use to hold the wheel onto the rod. Where you do this is you put that like that. Then you will have a washer. Then you would connect the wheel. Then you'll put another washer, and then you're going to put your cotter pin through there like that, and you're going to open it up. Right, so now you've got to get someone who's strong to lift the generator up. Then you're going to put this rod underneath. You're going to feed the U-bolt here, tighten it to the frame, and then put the wheels. Right, don't make that tight yet. First fix the other side, then you can come back and tighten everything once you've checked your alignments. It's important to line the U-bolt into the recess. If you have a look at the next picture, you can see how the U-bolt slots into the recess. Right, now I've made sure that the U-bolt is sitting in the slot. I've tightened this side, now I can tighten the other side. Now you put the washer, the wheel, it doesn't matter which way you put the wheel. You put the next washer, you put the cotter pin, and now you open the pin. Right, so the cotter pin holds the wheel in place. Now on this side it's a little bit different because the fan is already taking the place of those 2 holes. What we need to do is remove the nuts and bolts that's holding this fan, put the U-bolt, but then the U-bolt will hold not only the rod but also the fan. So now I'm going to remove these nuts and bolts here that is holding this fan. Right, now go do the other side. Right, now it's time to fix this handle. Now you don't have to have this on for the generator to work. This is only if you're going to be moving the generator from time to time. Came with 4 bolts. One of the holes has already been used with the bolt for the fan. So I'm just going to loosen that one now and remove it. It's bolt washer through there. Right, this is a size 8. Now we need to fill it up with oil. The filler point is over here, so you just got to unscrew this anti-clockwise. And just make sure your generator is on a level surface. There, I measure it and also measure that it is horizontal in this plane. The oil capacity of this engine is 1.1 litre. Just make sure that when you do fill it, you can see there's a high and low, and just make sure it's towards the high. It doesn't have to be 1.1 litre as long as it is above the middle point. So you put the oil cap and dipstick. This is a 2-in-1, so it blocks the oil from coming out, but also provides you with a level measurement. So you tighten it and then you reopen it. I can see the oil is just over there, 3/4 full. So that's fine for now. Right, just explaining the front faceplate. Over here you have the key switch. So what you'll find is this has 3 separate positions. So the off position is over here, and then when you want to start it, you put it over here if you're going to do the manual start. If you're going to use the electric start, you're going to turn the key all the way to here, and then it will go and try and start. If your battery is flat, what you'll have to do is put the key in this position, then go and do the manual start. Right, once your generator has been running for a few minutes, you can plug in your appliances over there and there. In order to switch on your appliances, there's a circuit breaker here, so you'll put this in the on position by flicking the circuit breaker upwards. If you're wondering what this is not an output, it is an input. It says DC 12 volts and it comes with a cable, and you plug in your DC 12 volts into the generator. For example, if your battery is dead or you want to charge a battery, you can put 12 volts into this socket over here. It will not give you 12 volts. Some generators have a 12 volt output. This particular generator does not have that. Over here, you'll have your voltmeter telling you the voltage output that can be measured on the plug section over here. It's always good practice to check your voltmeter, because sometimes a generator can go into a faulty condition and sit at 300 volts when it was supposed to be 220, for example. This over here is an earth point. You can use it to connect an earth cable and a rod into the ground, especially when your generator is going to be installed in a certain location and not going to be moved. I will show that later in the video. This is also where you can connect the negative of your battery if you would like to. Right, now this is the negative cable from your battery. It comes like this, disconnected, so that the battery doesn't deplete. The negative cable from the battery can be connected to this earth point over here, the chassis ground. So you unscrew the nut and washer. Make sure the other nut is still fastened onto the chassis there. You just connect it like that, and then you put the washer and the nut over it. Right, now it's time to fill up the petrol tank. Make sure this is off. Now what you want to do is you want to open the tank and get your petrol ready. Make sure your petrol hasn't been sitting for 6 months. Should be fresh petrol, unleaded, at least 87 octane. Open the filler cap and now we'll pour it in. Right, you unscrew this anti-clockwise and now we can fill it up. This is just a little filter which you can clean out from time to time. Some sediment sometimes gets in there when you're pouring in the petrol. That's fine. It's fine. Stop. If you spill gasoline on the tank, it's very important that you wipe it. So close the lid and wipe any excess gasoline off the tank and body of the generator. Make sure that you only fill the gasoline when the generator is cool. Never fill the generator when the generator is on or very hot. On the top here, you'll see a level indicator telling you how full the generator tank is. As you can see, this is the fuel valve and it is currently open, which means fuel can flow into the carburetor, and if you want to close it, you close it like that. If you're not using the generator for a long period of time, you can leave it closed, but now we're going to use the generator, so I'm going to put it in the open position, allowing the fuel to flow to the carburetor. Now on the left hand side, you will see the filter as well as the choke. Now the procedure for starting the generator is put the choke in the closed position and then try and start the generator. If the generator is able to start, then as soon as it started, just put it about midway and leave it like that for about 30 seconds. Then you can open the choke completely and let the generator run for about 5 minutes before you load it up with your appliances. Over here you've got the manual start, which is what you'll probably be doing because your battery most probably is flat if your generator has been sitting in a warehouse for a few months. So I'm going to attempt an electric start. But if I can hear that the battery isn't powerful enough to start up this generator, I'm going to go to the manual start, because if you keep on trying to start it while the battery is uncharged, you'll destroy that battery. So it's best to only start it when your battery has been fully charged. And as you can hear, this battery does not have enough power to actually start this generator. As you listen to this, so that's particularly why you will now do the manual start and let this battery charge over time. Once your generator is running, it should be able to charge your battery. You see there it's giving me over 13 volts. That's enough to charge the battery. I'm measuring at the battery terminals. When you switch your generator on, the voltmeter should show you the voltage output. I'm just going to measure it. You do not need to do this, and please be careful. This poses a danger to human life. And there you can see my meter measures 227 volts. The generator is working correctly. If you're going to be installing your generator in a little room, as you can see, we are putting it in a room. We've taken the wheels off, we've taken the additional handle off because it's going to go directly onto the floor, and in that way we don't need the extra accessories. Now it's important to earth your generator, and here I've got an earth wire which is connected to an earth spike. Alright, you should use a lug and then you should use a crimper to crimp it. If you do not have these tools, you can do this and then put a washer over it and another washer that side and sandwich it onto the earth point, but preferably rather use a lug, as I'm going to demonstrate. Right, so that is now crimped and I can attach this to the earth point on the generator. Right, there's an earth spike into the ground. If you do run an earth cable, try and make the earth cable as thick as possible and as short as possible. Now what you can also do is you can also connect that to any metallic pipes or any metallic items in your environment. If you are going to be putting your generator in an enclosure like this, what we did is we extend the exhaust pipe outside so that the heat is extracted, and also we have a lot of ports here for the air to come out, and we've got forced air cooling. I'll show you on the other side. We've got 2 fans that blow in fresh air, and then we've got 2 extraction fans on the other side. And what helps is if you can build a double wall that helps with the sound insulation. Right, in this installation I've got the battery outside of the generator because I often find that if you leave the generator for a month or so, it does not start and you have to come with jumper leads and things like that. So there is the starter cables that were connected to the battery, but I've now connected them to my external charger and starter. Alright, so there is my external battery and starter, and then I can also monitor it, and I've got my own charger there which is on 24 hours a day. You can also use one of these intelligent battery chargers instead of using your external battery charger like I'm doing, and then you just connect it to your battery and then it keeps the battery topping up while your generator is not in use. Right, in this installation there is forced cooling, so there's a lot of air coming in, high velocity fans and air being extracted, so the generator has a lot of air around it. Please note that a generator does need a lot of airflow around it, especially if the generator is working on high load. Possibly just leave the door open and only close it when you're not using the generator. Right, so here is the changeover switch, and if you want to see how to wire a changeover switch, please check my playlist on electrical videos. You should have a way to isolate your generator from your appliances or your DB board. If you'd like to see how to set up a generator and connect it to your DB board or a changeover switch, I have this in my playlist of electrical videos. Thanks for watching and cheers.